onto B here on Icebox. So that may be the only time you see it.
I mean, obviously Draken's gonna go for it, you know, it's pistol round, but it was a 1v3. Of course, two players of Fnatic were just extremely low, but that classic. I mean, Boaster was doing the right thing, just looking for a white pick with that frenzy. It was just not enough against the right click of the classic. Just is gonna find Doma here pretty easy. They're gonna take control of this A side. Apparently, still haven't stepped in. 2 kills for them on this eco round for Fnatic. Boaster here is gonna take a little bit of damage. Looking for this close range. He wants some right clicks for himself as well. Oh, the utility coming in for Guild. They still haven't committed fully, but they are gonna they're gonna do it right now. Draken is gonna find Dirk and Mystic. Right click onto insane Draken here with Mystic and Leo. Another right click for both. So he's gonna have nightmares about Classic tonight. Easy round for Guild is expected. Obviously, after that first round. Full eco that was for Fnatic. They're gonna have a full buy now. And man, oh man, I'm still thinking about that first round. How confident he was. Of course, it was 1v3, but once he found the first one, and he obviously had the info that, you know, they were low on HP. At least 2 of them. Oh.
Take out their healer.
It was this second round. The second round was actually uncharacteristically slow for Guild. They have typically, especially when playing against BDS, went for very fast attacks here on the A side. Unsurprising at all to see the breach be lent into as much as it was in that last round. That's something that they do quite a lot, not just here on Icebox. We've seen it a lot on Bind as well from Guild, so definitely a big part of their play. But this tentativeness, while I applaud it, is not what we saw against BDS.
Yeah. Of course, they gotta change their playstyle. They don't want to be too easy to read. Pretty passive here, just waiting for something, and they basically 3 players, the Fnatic just waiting on A. They also have used this Viper wall to defend this side. It's only gonna be Dirky on B. Full buy, as we were saying for them, the wall coming in. Oh, this A side is just too protected for Guild to do anything. They do spot Mystic here. They're gonna start breaking the wall, but Doma's waiting on the other side. Also having this utility. Oh, that's a Viper's Pit. That is extremely early on the 3rd round. It's gonna give a lot of space for Guild to play in.
He's getting in aggressive, but immediately punished for it. Mystic picking one up. Doma's just going to try and play outside it, but it looks like a lot of that utility that Fnatic invested into early to hold this control kind of thrown back in their face when they're so severely limited by the Viper's Pit. Durka can sit up in Nest. That's a nice kill from Doma. He actually guns down the second. Is he going to be able to find the third? Yes, he is. Around 4 Fnatic. As Doma, he had the balls to shoot straight in. He's gonna get all of it. It'll be fine. They got plenty of time. Don't need to worry about that. I mean, Fnatic invested a lot in order to hold so much control. You mentioned the barrier orb. As soon as that got broken, the slow orb came out. They also had the Viper's wall too. Really, Guild needed that Viper's Pit to give themselves any room, but Fnatic almost entirely negated it by pretending it wasn't there. Having Durka play up in Nest and, you know, a couple of their players just push straight in, Boaster and Doma, who, you see the latter of whom got those final kills. That worked really well for Fnatic, and I think having that aggression in response was everything they needed.
Yeah, and as you were saying, Deke on Nest, he had control of it was going out outside the pit. So he just had to give the call, just Doma, just shoot. You know, there's gonna be someone in there. So one of them is low. He finds the first one. He finds the second one. He even got his ultimate. That's 8 orbs right there with this new Sage ult. He'll use the wall pretty early as well to defend this A side again. Apparently Guild has a favorite here on Icebox. It's gonna be an alpha. Still going in. They were coming from that bonus onto a full buy. Pretty slow, waiting for the aggression. That's not right coming in. They have broken. Oh, they haven't seen. I thought they broke the wall. Like, that was early. Jessini's gonna dash in. He's gonna find Doma that was flashed. Thanks to Bonker. Still, they don't have full control of the point because of that Viper wall. Mystic save Leo. Oh my god, too many shooting, and it's just gonna be Deke left out alive from Fnatic, and it looks like the position of it. He's just gonna try and save his gun. I didn't know. I didn't see if he was with the operator. So maybe gonna go look for some exit frag. No, he's just gonna save it. He wants to keep it safe. Oh, it's just gonna be a Vandal. But man, oh man, as you were saying, pretty much aggressive. Like, they waited to see if there's any kind of push, and once they saw the Sage wall, it was like, oh, okay, they're not gonna fight. They don't want to fight this. And it was just, you know, just war on A side.
I mean, the thing as well that you have to consider is that Fnatic are getting so much more value out of their own Viper's wall that they have, because the one that Guild have placed down is going to be more valuable to you in a post plant. Now, of course, Guild do take this next round because as the fights ensued over onto A, they won the upper hand of that, and of course Durka didn't want to get involved towards the end. But it does mean that there is so much more risk involved in those fights that are actually happening in the mid round. The onus is really on Guild to take the risk against the utility that Fnatic are using. Now, just seeing what everybody's going to bring out. Guild totally comfortable to have a full buy. Fnatic are trying to juggle what it is that they're bringing and decide what that's going to be. Magnum, the only one sitting still on a pistol, instead actually going to be bringing a Spectre. They've also got some light armor in there as well. Doma to be playing on the Marshal too.
It didn't want to give it up so easily. That Viper will again defend in A. The rotation is going to be fast from Fnatic as Gil is choosing A side again. They do have someone waiting on spawn to cut off some rotations. Maybe Fnatic trying to go for that lurker push, but it's not gonna happen. They're just... Fnatic do not want to engage just yet. Gil just waiting. Again, is there gonna be an aggression? No? Is this A side again for us? They also have to think and time that Viper wall. And after this is done, oof.
Look at where the Viper is positioned as well for Guild. You know, they are just being very vigilant, just in case Fnatic want to come in for a flank, which they actually haven't done so far. And it's something that we did see them do a couple of times back on Ascent. Now, this is going to be the cue for Guild to start to back out. They're rotating the spike around. Maybe not.
I think that they want to give this impression, but this is different because we were talking about aggressiveness and fast attacks. Only 20-30 seconds for them. Oh, just he's gonna find the first one, unless he has to back out. Trying to close the point as much as they can. Is this another Viper's pit? But this one is from Fnatic. It's gonna go down now. As Mystic falls onto Jacine. Oh god, they do not have planted the spike. It's only Doma here. He does have the rest, but he only has a Marshal and a Shorty. So looks like it's gonna be pretty hard for them. It was much of a tonkaz, but I think they were just trying to play with Fnatic's minds of this is gonna be different. They were not given signs on the map. Just seen with a 4K for him this round. 1-4 to Guild. They're starting off strong on this attack.
They are looking pretty good so far. Don't forget, of course, Guild chose to start on attack, so you would hope that they're building up that early advantage. Yeah, I mean, I think that, you know, obviously Doma being left at the end there with just the Marshal certainly didn't help. And the fact that they got rid of Mystic when they did, which meant that the Viper's Pit that Fnatic were trying to use against Guild, again, didn't really control space in the way that they wanted to. And as we know from Fnatic, they're this type of team that really lean into that controller playstyle. And if that can be denied to them, then you're going to significantly stunt them. And, well, Guild aren't afraid to get aggressive. 2 nice opening kills come in from Yacine, followed up by Leo as well. You can see that maybe Fnatic are looking to come round from behind, but with just 2 players remaining, it's going to be pretty difficult for them.
Caught a Mystic here, just waiting on all that utility, and his wall is going to go off at any point. He has to give up his position. Magnum pushing from behind, but he's not going to be fast enough. This could be a flawless for Guild. Oh, Drake can find the Mystic here. And there's only Magnum alive back there. He's gonna be spotted. That turret. See if Leo gets the flawless to Guild, as we were seeing. And I would like to kind of a timeout for Fnatic because, of course, this was a pocket round. This was an eco for them. They tried that aggression on A to see if actually Guild was gonna keep going onto A. They don't even have, but this round, they didn't really care about the presence on mid or even close to B. So let's see what they do on this next round. I would really like to see Fnatic just maybe, you know, give the point away and try and play to a retake. Because what they're trying so far is not working.
They have ults that they could use to do that. When you look at the fact that they got a lockdown, they've also got Hunter's Fury. Those could come in and cause quite a lot of devastation to Guild. The problem is Fnatic are falling in a lot of the opening engagements to a point at which it might be difficult to still derive value even if those ults are used. I like this push coming in from Drake, and it's something that Guild haven't done so much here, is tried to take the mid control. And you can see where Boaster's rotating around now that they're aware of where those attackers are.
Yeah, and after 6 rounds, it would be the time, you know, to change your plans. But apparently, Guild just wanted to make Fnatic feel that way, to think that they're actually gonna go for something that is not A. Oh? Are they actually gonna go to B? Look at Magnum and that positioning. That could be big if they don't spot him. But it looks like they're gonna, you know, prioritize the taking of mid. There's no one to dispute it, actually. Boaster coming in, but just not the right time, and he's not gonna spot anyone. And they actually gonna go back to kitchen, but this time with the spike, probably onto B. I see Magnum waiting there, but more on
30 seconds
the
left.
attackers side. Only 30 seconds for them also. They need to step their game up. Oh, this is
the Rolling Thunder. They're looking to clear out anyone who might be there, but no one was actually standing in the way of it. Spike can get going down, and Boaster's just gonna try and find who he can. He find himself getting caught out in some kind of angle here as the defender lockdown is there for use. There's the Hunter's Fury too, and all of these ults are getting invested.
Yeah, they're trying to break that lockdown. Oh, they didn't get that Drake, and he was smart enough. He heard the steps. He didn't want to rush too much onto it. Doma with the rest onto Mystic. And now this is looking good for Fnatic. This 3v5. The spike has been planted though. Bonk is going to find Boaster here. Leo defending that spike just from kitchen. So I'm going to talk about this spike. So, oh my god, they have it, and I thought they were not going to make it, but Mystic, you know, coming back to life thanks to Dome, is gonna clean the round for Fnatic, and of course they needed this round. And I feel, you know, after this round, the Guild is just gonna go back to A, because they're like, you know, things are just working on A for them.
Well, I mean, I think that was part of the decision making to actually push mid and go to B, is that they'd given Fnatic no reason to believe that they were going to go elsewhere because they've looked so dominant on the A pushes. And I didn't dislike the way that they were attempting to do it. I mean, while, you know, you think of something like the use of the Rolling Thunder didn't actually catch anybody out because no one from Fnatic was in a position to be caught out, it meant it couldn't be used later on, and when the defenders actually flooded in onto the attackers, they didn't have as much available to them to go against them. But, you know, they're setting up the spike actually over by green, so this could be another attempt at a B push, but just from a different direction as Magnum's forced back. But you never know, it could also just be a fake trying to clear out. They haven't committed one way or the other just yet, so both options are still on the table.
Yeah, just he's gonna try to get some information, open the things up a little bit for his team. He's gonna spot Magnum here, scout the kill, almost freely to himself. Kind of reckless of Justine to advance that much, but of course, he got his reward. Boaster here trying to prevent that plant, but it's already there, and the Viper's Pit is just gonna protect this spike for Guild on this 5v4. Time's ticking. Doma again trying to find that kill. Oh, but Justine, he's just moving around the map right now. Oh, Dirk is gonna find him. Not as easy as you thought, but again, this is gonna be extremely hard for Fnatic. They don't have the positioning. They know that Guild can play. Oh, they just have to think of the next round. It was too much for them. They could play post plant. So let's just save our guns and think of the 9th round.
Well, given the fact that Fnatic did manage to win the previous round and this one was looking a bit tight, you know, there was no definitive advantage to them here. I think it's probably the right call for them, because being as far back in the rounds as they are, having the weaponry that can actually go up against what Guild are bringing is certainly going to give you the advantage that you're looking for. Yassine be adding on with Phantom, and there's the defenders actually finally taking the tactical timeout. You spoke about it a couple of rounds ago, saying that maybe it'd be time for Fnatic to do that. Well, this is that time. And I think when you consider the fact that Guild have now been to both sites, they've won both sites.
Yeah.
For Fnatic, you haven't been able to successfully adapt to either.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've taken 2 rounds, so you could argue that they've been able to successfully adapt twice, but not consistently.
Yeah, and we're looking for consistency here. I would like to say, I would think it would be a key factor to maybe put Ducky on that operator, you know, having some aggressive picks, looking for those plays not only on A, because you know, on A, especially when Guild pushes, sorry, it's really hard for them because they have the Viper wall to protect themselves. They're also gonna use the drone. Bunker has the flashes, so it's not technically safe to push all those rounds, but maybe getting that information on B, and also why not on A. But I just miss Ducky on the operator, because I think specifically on Icebox, having a jet operator is definitely an upgrade to your team that Fnatic is not taking advantage of. He's gonna go with his ultimate this round, saving into green, but again, what a surprise. You're not gonna expect this, but his Guild preparing to attack on A, waiting for some aggression coming from Fnatic. There's nothing's gonna be coming, just in here trying to head this execute onto A. The drone, I think, is just gonna spot 1 or 2 of them, but the rotation's coming in from Fnatic. They can expect this one. See what Boaster can get in here, because with those flashes, they did it to Doma. They might do it to Boaster here. Oh, yeah. And the lockdown's gonna come down. And Fnatic, they do not have the means to break it just from there. Oh, maybe they do. Oh, they were expecting a different one. I'm sorry, Boaster. That was not the one this time. But the Viper's Pit is there to defend the side, and this could be big for Fnatic.
Well, hopefully it'll get more value for them than the last time they used it. Doma gets the opening kill, Boaster following up. So far, looking pretty good for Fnatic. Only have 2 more players that they need to deal with on the side of Guild. No ultimates for either.
Look at that, Kay.
30 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say high ground being held by Guild means that they're very exposed.
Here. Yeah.
And Durka he's not revealing himself just yet, but he's got time to play with.
And he does want it. They have to commit. I mean, there's only 10 seconds for them. They're gonna play together, have the spike. Oh my god, they're gonna say no. Oh, Safe is gonna find the kill him, but he doesn't. Oh, he just doesn't have the time. Oh, never. Does he have it? No, he doesn't. Oh, maybe he could have had it, but Mystic was smart enough to just run out of there. Smoke's not gonna come off. And there's another round for Fnatic. And you know, the mid round, Colin, of course they used that lockdown to get that pressure onto A. It was a good, you know, counter strat from Fnatic to use that Viper's Pit, and it just created so much space for that. And I would have expected Guild to be like, okay, maybe this is not safe for us anymore. We've done this so many times. Maybe this is the one that they can counter strat us. And I would have turned around maybe and generated some more pushes around the map. But again, they're gonna go again. At least at the beginning of the rounds for Guild is almost the same. They just want A control. They don't care about what happens on mid. They don't care about what happens on B. They just care about A.
Well, there's the stun out. Yassine straight away shut down, though. The Blade Storm taken off the board. Now, once again, we can see Durka's making his way from behind. That worked for Fnatic last time, but maybe Magnum just gunning down his adversaries is the answer instead. Another 3 versus 2, and you can see that jet coming from behind as the trades come out. We've just got 1 player on the side of Guild, totally exposed, very easy for Durka to bring down. And this was the thing that I was going to say at the start of the round, in fact, was that one thing that Fnatic weren't doing previously when Guild attacked onto A is flanking. And I actually mentioned it at the beginning of the game. Now, of course, Guild are bringing a Killjoy, so they can use flank watch utility, and we've seen them do it a couple of different ways. We've seen sometimes the alarm bot be placed in the entrance to A over by attacker spawn. In that last round, it was a turret instead. But it hasn't really stopped Durka from succeeding and capitalizing on the flank in the last 2 rounds where he's used it. And Fnatic have found a lot more success when he has done that.
Yeah, and now Guild, you don't want to give up mid so easily. We've seen Viper on that position before. See if he can take advantage of it. The drones are going to find each other. Yassine pushing in very slowly, almost try picking. Oh, he's going to have the flash now coming in from Bonka, but he's going to be spotted here. Oh, he's not. See if they expect him. And again, the rotation from Fnatic is just... I mean, Durka could start pushing right away. Because from what we've seen, they could expect the full commitment from Guild into this A point.
Khan going down, but I mean, so many kills at this point, and the spike doesn't actually succeed. Location revealed there, and it's going to be Draken trying to put the pressure onto Durka. Gil totally read into the fact that he's been working there. Turret taken down, and Magnum as well. 2 versus 3. Doma knows the safe is just around the corner, but he doesn't want to step out of position just yet to try and get him flanked. He can find one, finally gets safe. Now he's turning his attention back to Leo. He saw him! He saw him! And Leo still gets the kill regardless. Nice safe amount of time for Gil to plant the spike down without any kind of worries. And we head into the last round of the half with Guild leading this, but it's not infallible. It's not insurmountable. In fact, if Fnatic get this next round, 7-5, that's not even that bad.
Yeah.
The problem is they don't have enough money for a full buy, so they are already at a direct disadvantage.
Yeah, and Deck is not gonna have his ultimate. And actually, we started that ascent with a 4-8 when we changed to attackers and defenders, and I think it was a pretty good result. And as you were saying, I would say it's pretty solid as well. We haven't seen much of Guild, except for a couple rounds that they wanted to go into B, especially through Kitchen. And again, it's gonna be A. Fnatic is waiting for this. I'm kind of scared of Doma being there so exposed because he has his wrist. Oh my god, he's gonna fly all over the map. He's gonna save himself. Oh no, just yet, says Leo, as he finishes him off. And oh, as I was telling you, they're not gonna have the resurrection for this last round. And Gil, they do have that lockdown. The spike's gonna be planted, and Saif just runs away, and he can use it freely. Leo's gonna find Magnum here, and they're just gonna run away after the use of that lockdown. Bosa's gonna try and find it, but Justine is gonna finish him. Leo with the 3rd kill this round, and it's only gonna be Mystic. Flawless round for Guild again on A side.
Guild had a really good time on their attack, but I am reluctant to lean too much into it, because if you think back to Ascent, where Fnatic finished it off with 10 rounds on their attack, was it? And then it still ended up in a 13-11 by the end. Everything can change when you get to the half. It is by no means a guarantee of anything. So, I mean, Guild having a really good time here on Fnatic's map. And they have to win this map if they're to take it to a map 3. If Guild lose here on Icebox, they will be going down into the lower bracket. They'll have to face G2. And it'll be Fnatic moving forward into the upper bracket finals. So Guild don't really have any option.
Yeah. And G2 is waiting for any of those teams. I mean, I hope G2 picks Icebox, because I think they're gonna pretty much know what to do against Guild, especially with the firepower that they have. But we're still not there. Fnatic just starting their attack, and it's gonna be A again. It's gonna be A. The main character of this Icebox. Let's see if Guild can work against the same strategy. Bose is gonna find Bunker. Creating the first hole onto this A side. Still Doma is trying to find the plant. Not quite there. Mystic finding Leo. And oh, the spike
down
is on Guild's possession. Gonna try and retrieve it. Save here. Looking for another kill. And they're gonna run away. But take care, because mid control is not yours. It's actually for Guild, and they're gonna be waiting for you. Justine is gonna find the first one. Oh, Saif is gonna find Bose.
Turn around.
Oh. Yeah, they have to. They gave up that pressure. They did not have the presence on mid. And what do you do now? Because you're not certain of anything regarding the map. Mystic here. I mean, they can't play post bomb. They still have one venom, but the snake bite's not gonna be enough, I feel.
Like, you have some diminishing hope.
One enemy.
You see? Okay, he just finishes off the last 2. Yeah, not a huge problem there for Guild at the end, I don't think. The fact that the Fnatic decided to rotate out without having the mid control, and either they weren't expecting mid control to be held by Guild, or they were just hoping that they would win out the gunfights. Yeah, I mean, I had some questions at the start as well, because when the spike was initially dropped, and you saw the Sage go down, part of me was just thinking, like, Doma, you get that aggressive. Like, if you're carrying the spike, because then the onus is on the rest of the team to retrieve it, and that's not always a guarantee. Durka did pick it up pretty swiftly, but you still have to enter into the next phase of attempting to plant and whatever else it might be, clearing out the remainder of the defenders without that one player. And especially if it's a Sage, you know, not someone you want to be losing really early in a round.
And I'm just having kind of a deja vu here. I mean, Fnatic has forced this round. They don't want to give it up easily. They're gonna try again on 2-8. What is with 8 today? Doma's gonna find safe. And now they know that they force. And I mean, you have Guild playing again their own strat. They know what to do. They know what the weak points are. Let's see if Fnatic can take this point, because otherwise we'll keep, I mean, on the Ascent it was just the same. 8-4, they got the pistol and consecutive, so it was 10-4. But it was definitely not over. The senior is gonna find Boaster, but the spike has gone down. Clock's ticking. He's also gonna find Doma, but Durka is gonna end his trip for this round. Is it gonna be enough? Do they have enough to defend this? So Magnum has a thought on this one, but Leo, oh my god, the timing!
One enemy remaining. Clutch.
Oh no. That just happened. That just happened. My man Bonk.
I mean, yeah, it was a good end there for Guild.
I mean, I think just Fnatic was just, they trusted too much, you know, on the flank. They were just waiting on Magnum. He got the kills, he got the timing, but, you know, there was no fake. Spike was being diffused. And it's another round that we have to give to Guild. And both teams are gonna have an orthodox buy for this round. We're gonna see a lot of Spectres. And again, A! What is going on with A today?
It's an interesting one, especially. They're obviously investing their Viper's Wall over towards B, which means they've got to kind of rely on the Barrier Orb for anything similar. I suppose the Poison Orb as well, the Poison Cloud really helps with that, but you're still lacking a lot by not using the Viper's Wall. And if you're not faking, then you're never going to have that utility on your side anyway.
Oh, Magnum's going to find Bunker, but you see, oh, the pressure's just too much.
Standing.
Fnatic are going to find themselves in 3v1. Doma's going to have the chance to plant the spike, and they know where Draken is. That turret's spotting him. Doma knows that he's safe. He's just getting the right plant. They have the time. So
Spike
checking
planted.
it for the rotation. That alarm bot is going to take notice if he comes from CT. See what Draken wants to do. It was explosive, and at first it felt like Gil had it under control. The positioning for the defense on A is just slightly different from Fnatic, but still was not enough. It's a weak spot, and they didn't even need it, as you said, that Viper wall. They can just play post-plan here, because why not? Killjoy's alive, Viper's alive, and Drake in here is a hard task on himself. Gonna take the Bulldog. Oh, oof. That was gonna be a whiff. But Magnum closing the round here for themselves, and they're gonna keep the Spectres because we were saying it was weird. They all looked for the close quarter, and some of them were just luckier than others. What they can bring into this next round, because Guild now is gonna have to do an eco pocket round to carry on to the next one. But we're also gonna see Fnatic with those Spectres still.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Fnatic is because that was the first round in ages that they've been able to put on the board. I don't know how they feel about investing everything and potentially losing everything as well.
It was a good execute previous round as well. It just had a ninja diffuse, kind of.
That is very true. They've left the spike behind this time as well, so there is a chance that they could back out and go somewhere else. They're not fully investing into A. And actually, if you look at this rotate that's coming out from the defenders, nice early kill for safe. Look at the rotate coming out from the defenders. They're ready to meet them at B.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. They're not gonna have that Viper wall to defend themselves. Durka here with the Vandal. You've just seen, and still fly up and get a kill with that ultimate. Leo has to back up. He's been spotted by the drone, and the pressure is coming on to B from both teams. Again, this is an eco from Gil, but still, it's not a lost run. Yassine is gonna find Boaster and Doma. Okay, he's gonna finish his life, but still, it's forward. Never mind. 2v3. The spike still can't go down. And that Sage wall is gonna prevent any pushes from CT.
so much harder for them to put the spike down as well, because where they invested the barrier orb is not where you
30
typically
seconds
would
left.
put it
Exactly.
if you want to be spiking here. If you want to be planting the spike here in the default plant. So they have to use some face checks a lot more. Durka trying to hold
that's
onto
big.
the high ground. Mystic coming around from behind. They got, I mean, they have to get aggressive, right? Because otherwise they're going to be pushed up on by Guild. There's not much time left. Have to get the plant actually down. And finally, Durka finishes off Draken to secure Fnatic that round.
Still, was a tough round for them, and it was very well played by Guild. They're gonna be able to do a full buy. Well, everyone but Mystic, because he has to. He saved that Spectre from last round. It was very nicely executed at the end of the round. They were really smart, waiting for Guild to push. If it is not happening, let's just try an off angle. Of course, Guild is waiting for them to plant, or at least to fake plant, and that was very nice from Fnatic. Again, score's getting closer, and this is literally just a deja vu. Pressure from Guild coming onto mid from Kitchen. Fnatic again, going on to A side. This is the beginning of the round.
Yeah, but
they do have that
this
lockdown.
This time, Guild have actually decided to put their Viper's Wall across the A site instead of over to the B site, which is where it was both times that Fnatic used their Viper's Wall on B but attacked onto A as well. So Guild have decided that they're going to adapt to that. They've got a lot of Killjoy utility out in the site as well. So making these rotations for Fnatic's going to be harder, but getting ready with the lockdown could make it easier.
Yeah, it could still. Maybe not enough. They're gonna push them out of A side. They're gonna get that barrier out. But Doma, please. You got the res. This could be so different for your team. Now it's gonna be Guild who uses the lockdown to prevent this from happening, but it's almost just happened. Is Doma gonna have enough time to run away from there? Bonka says no. It's still a 4v4 situation. They're already playing post plan. Still. Oh. That was just nice from Durka.
Trying to hold on to these angles. He gets one onto
nice.
Leo. He sees the head of Safe, but doesn't quite get it. I mean, Fnatic aren't forward enough to really do much. They've just got to try and get these kills from afar. Rolling Thunder from the defenders isn't going to help, and that enables Safe, who is swiftly taken down as well. The 1 versus 2 does not help. Magnum finally falls as the last player. Fnatic had a really difficult time after the spike was planted of actually pushing up and having any kind of a close defense or any control over multiple angles at once. They all had to play from further back. The Rolling Thunder hurt them. The Defender Lockdown hurt them. And while they got a couple of nice kills from the positions that they were holding, there is such a limited scope of what you can actually control from those positions, especially if Guild decide to try and take the kills in the way that they did, i.e. Force these engagements to be 2v1s rather than 1v1s, you know? If anything, like absolute worst comes to worst, you get a trade in that situation.
Yeah, and also the nanoswabs had to go on so early for them. They needed to run back, and they needed to know that as they were running back, the spike was not going to be diffused again by Guild. But it was just not enough. Another round comes out for Guild. Justine being aggressive here. Checking if it's another A push, but it's going to go on to B. They have used that Viper wall there. Reinforcement still. Justine trying to get the push. She finds Magnum. And he's got an old information there. Not here. They have to go mid or they have to be on B. Playing for yellow here. Drake, and he's gonna find that.
Not enough fuel.
Oh,
Poison's off.
God. That is just devastating for Fnatic here. They do have the rest, but it's just too risky unless they go back to A. Drake in here playing pretty close. They're not gonna have that Viper wall again. Leo heals kind of sold. Has to back out. Bonk is gonna come in with the reinforcement, and the Viper's Pitch is here. They're gonna go for the rest. He created that space, breaking at that aggressive positioning.
30
Spike's
seconds
gonna
left.
be planted, and Justine is coming through the back of this flank. Oh, you heard this? Oh. Oh. Wow. The decision making there. He's gonna spec
Last
Durka.
player standing.
Amazing. Justine here. What a play for him. How can someone be that smart? I'm gonna go for the first one. I have no info on the other ones. I have my teammates saying nothing about it. I'm just gonna give up this position and look for something else. Gonna force them out. If they want me, I'm just not gonna be an easy target. And wow, that was just beautiful of him. And now Fnatic has to save 6 rounds in a row to get to overtime. We saw overtime almost happening on Ascent, but how do you see it, Gio, for this icebox? Kinda cold?
I don't think overtime is exceptionally likely. Even when you just look at the scoreboard, the highest number of frags that any one player on Fnatic has is 14. Compare that to the 25 of the top fragger on Guild. Fnatic is struggling.
They are struggling, but Magnified's the first one. Just seeing he's gonna end up dead. He's gonna get Magnum as well. Mystic says it's over. He's really low though. He still have that Sage. I don't know if he's used the heal already. Probably has, because otherwise we've seen Mystic health go up. And on this 3v3, look at Guild putting that pressure onto Mead. What are you gonna do now? Fnatic, come out. Don't hide from us. So I've just gotten the first pick here. Bosa trying to find him. He's gonna use his recon. Oh no, he's a shock dart to get him off position. And distracted, but it's not gonna be enough. He doesn't land the shot. Not enough. Recon now. He does not expect Leo to be there. Oh, this is gonna be so hard for Fnatic. And they do not expect Bonka to be still there, maybe.
One enemy remaining.
Oh my god.
Spike down A.
I mean, yeah, Hunter's Fury finishing things
Defenders
off.
win.
That is Leo. So we go